What's up, guys? It's John Dominique, the Soul Proponent. Today, I want to talk about the devil as a pogo stick. The devil is a pogo stick. The reason I say that is because it's not something that's meant to hold you down and to cause you frustration and pain forever. The devil is a pogo stick because once we realize its falseness, that realization propels you to another level of self-realization. It enhances your growth and development. It's like the stepping stone that boosts you higher into another stratosphere, into another universe, into another dimension of reality. Once we realize that the truth that the devil or the enemy is a false identity, we realize the truth. And the truth is God, which is our true identity. These are kind of realizations on the path of the soul that, we can talk about this all day, but ultimately, this is an experience in our own heart, a direct, first-hand experience that we have to feel and understand in its entirety to actually get a flavor or to get an understanding of what it means that the devil is a pogo stick. People treat the devil as it's something bad. And, here's the thing, and especially in traditional Christianity, no one really identifies this enemy, this adversary, or Satan. That becomes a problem because we can't know God without knowing the enemy. The enemy is a part of us. It's who we take ourselves to be. It's our identity. And we get this individual identity from the group or collective identity. There's, from society and civilization, our personalities are needed. We need to have an identity as we live our practical lives, because without it, we can't really function in society. But we get caught up in this concept of who we think we are and who we take ourselves to be. And we really believe that this is who we are. Now, on the deepest level, this identity is just a concept. It's an idea. But the problem is we're attached to this idea. And attachment is not the truth that sets us free. So when I say the enemy is a pogo stick, it means that when we see deeply that this identity is not who we really are, it dissipates, it disappears, it loses its power, it slowly. So where the attachments to this identity become looser, and we can get to the point where we're totally free from the attachments to this identity. That doesn't mean that your identity will be gone forever. It just means that you see that it's not the truth of who and what you really are, or it's just a small part of you. And there's more to reality, there's more to you, there's more to life. We're not stuck in this identity. We're not fixated anymore. And that allows our awareness to expand a little bit. And again, at the very beginning, it's going to be emptiness. We're not going to be aware of anything. There's going to be nothingness. But we have to allow ourselves to be immersed in that nothingness, allow our identity to be erased, because the false identity, it's trying to survive. It's trying to resist this kind of awareness. And it's very good at this. It's been surviving like this for millions of years. It gets its power from being unconscious. And we adopt this identity. We inherit it from when we're like little children. We grow up and then we start to see, we need to not have an identity in order to function in society. But we lose touch with the our natural state of, like in being a child. In childhood, that's kind of like a more natural state. You feel the joy, you feel close, you have a basic trust in reality. And as we get older, we turn our backs and we start to formulate an identity that becomes more important than staying in touch with the truth of our innocence and the magic of what we experienced in childhood. So the enemy is a pogo stick. It's like we can bounce off of this. It's like a tool that we can use. When in the Bible it says, sit here so I can make a footstool of your enemies. This is what this points to. When we do enough work, spiritual work, we see that this enemy is not real. It propels us, it bounces us, it magnifies our development and our growth, and it propels us into another level, to another dimension of reality. We start to become more aware of a larger picture, larger forces that are controlling us. But we have to experience this again. We can talk about this all day. It doesn't do much good until we actually do the work and see what it's about and see how it relates to us. And how is the enemy a pogo stick? Maybe we can ask ourselves, how do I use this as a tool? How do I see that it's here for my benefit? How do I see that it's not just something here to cause me suffering? If we embrace this, a part of ourselves, we know we don't have to hate it. We can love it, and we can see that it's actually a good thing. Well, it's more neutral than anything, but we should be grateful for this enemy, because without it, we can't make the contrast to the true identity without knowing the false identity. We can't know God without knowing the enemy. We have to know the enemy better than we know anything else. Like, our lives have to be shaped around understanding it fully, penetrating it, seeing how it operates. How does it operate in our unconscious? How are we identified with it? How are we attached to it? Every single way. And our life has to become a whole, one long meditation, one long spiritual practice. This is not easy. It's a very tall order. But once we do that, the enemy becomes a tool that we can use to further our growth and development, our own realization, increasing our liberation. So it's kind of like a diamond being formed, like the pressure that we're being put under by this enemy. It has potential for us to be used as a way to turn into a diamond. The coals, at first it's ugly. No one likes it. No one wants to face the enemy, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Once we become aware of it, it becomes inconvenient. It's very difficult. People just want to ignore it, and they just want Jesus. They just want what's good. So the pleasure principle comes into place. It's like it becomes so important to avoid the enemy, but that's kind of a disservice because we're not being able to do the work. So we need to have that pressure to be able to form diamonds. Like if an egg is hatching and you break the egg for the chicken inside of it, it'll die because it won't have the strength that it needs to live. And it gathers that strength by breaking out of that shell. That's kind of like what we have to do. It's very difficult, and again, most people don't talk about this kind of thing. But the enemy is a pogo stick because it can propel our awakening. It can increase our awareness and our unfolding, and that's what it's there for. It's made to be. It's something, a thing of beauty. The beautiful thing is that we can experience spiritual reality for ourselves, spiritual awakening for ourselves. And the way we do that is by working with our problems, working with our attachments, and seeing this enemy and seeing how we're not one with the truth right now. How we're not aware of God. What's blocking us? What are the barriers? And we continue to work with this type of material to the point where we see this material is necessary for our own growth. It needs to be there. Without having these struggles, without knowing the enemy, we really can't know God. John Dominique, the Soul Proponent.